could start in 2024. Okay, if you're here, if you're just joining and you know someone that will benefit so much from this exact session, please feel free to share the link to this class with them so that we can have people that will come on board and be able to hear directly from the horse's mouth before we jump right into what we have for today. Okay, so if you have anyone or if you know anyone that you think will benefit from everything that we are going to be doing tonight, please feel free to share the link to this session with them. Okay, we're going to start instantly. So I'm going to share my screen and bring up what we have for tonight. But while that is going on, I would love to know you and also know where you are joining us from. Okay, I would love to know you and also get to hear where you're joining us from. So you can mention in the chat box that your name is Amarachi, joining from so and so. Your name is Don, your name is Henry, joining from anywhere, right? So that we'll get to know each other, right? So this is part of the first thing that we'll get to handle before we jump right into the discussions for tonight, right? So just feel free to type in your name and also where you are joining us from. Hi, Bon, please confirm that people can be able to send messages. Please confirm that everyone.
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you so much for that. All right, so I'm waiting to hear from anyone. Let me get to interact with you. So our classes are always very, very interactive. So please make it interactive for me as well. All right, so feel free to type in your name and where you are joining us from so that we can easily get to know each other tonight. I can't see any message from anyone yet. Can't see anything from anyone yet. Are there anyone in this group chat? Is there anyone in this meeting? Hi, Bon, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
All right. I can't see any message from anyone yet. So I'm just wondering whether there are people on this call with me. Aside Toby. Hi, Toby. It's good to have you on the call. So, all right. Okay. So I think tonight we're going to have a very, very uphill task to get the engagement from people and get them to also converse with us. So like I always mention, it's when you interact with us that we get to also give you a very, very 100% interactive class. But when you just, leave it up to us to just talk, it may not really easily flow. Okay, so good. Okay, I can see Amarachi from Nigeria. It's good to have you on the call, Amarachi. Okay, so the same way Amarachi just sent hers, you are at liberty to send in your name and where you're joining us from. This is very, very critical so that I can be able to call you, I can be able to converse with you, I can be able to, call your name and make sure that you are following what we are discussing in tonight's session. Right. So please, guys, let me get to hear from you. I want to hear from you. What's your name and where are you joining us from tonight so that we can get this started immediately? Prosper from UK, amazing. It's great to have you on the call, Prosper. Welcome on the call. All right, so guys, I'm still expecting others here to also, speak to us and then talk to us where they are joining from so that we get to start immediately. So tonight we're going to be talking about how, learn cybersecurity if I could start over in 2024. Most of the times we'll have friends, we'll have people that have been trying to transition into the tech ecosystem. And we end up learning things that might or things that will not, get us to our own destination. I always tell people that, trying to get into any place is simple. Simply look at the people that are already existing there and, repeat what they've done. Okay, what did they do that got them into those places that they're at the moment? Simply look at it and try to, copy what they've done and also implement it for yourself. That's actually the most simplest and easiest way to get yourself into any place that you are trying to be a thought leader in. For instance, if you are looking that you want to be a cybersecurity person, who exactly are you looking up to? What did that person that you're looking up to, what did that individual actually, what did they learn that got them to that exact destination? So it's very, very important for you to be able to also go through this exact phase and know things that they also were able to get. Okay, welcome on board, Innocent from Nigeria as well. So while others may not be very, very interactive, we're going to jump right into our discussion for tonight because we're already at 5 minutes past 8 West African time. Okay, and like I mentioned, please ensure that you also fill the attendance form so that you'll be able to have access to the slides that we're using for this class and also the recording that we're also going to produce after. So because it might be on the call, it might drop off at any point, join back at any point, please make sure that you also fill the attendance form so that you'll be able to get all the materials that we are going to be sharing tonight. So what are we going to be doing? Basically, we are here to talk about how I would learn cybersecurity if I could start over in 2024. Okay, and which organization is bringing this amazing session for you? So we are at Analytics. So I always speak that we are the leading educational technology company that is coming out from Africa and is playing strongly in the diaspora market, helping people of the Black community to break into the tech ecosystem. All right. And for the past 4 years, we've been doing this in Africa, US, UK, Canada, Europe, Asia, and other places. And we've helped over 2,000 people move from our classroom into their first job. Okay. And these are things that we like to walk people through. What we consider as success here is our ability to move you from the classroom to your first job. I'm not just giving you the technical skill, rather helping you to move into the area that you intend to be in. Okay. And we are committed to making the technology sector more accessible for everyone by lowering the entry barrier for everybody that wants to get into any of these tech career paths: data analytics, business analytics, data engineering, full stack data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, Scrum Master, cybersecurity, and soon to come AI engineering. And we have amazing people coming from fantastic companies coming back to the classroom to teach our students using project-based approach to learn the areas that they intend to go into. And also our students get to also work in these amazing companies because they already have the pre-experience to help them land all those roles. And who exactly is speaking to you tonight? So basically, my name is Chukwemeka, and I am a technology consultant with nearly a decade experience that I've been playing in governance aspects and, of course, strategic consulting. So currently, I am the CEO of Analytics, and I've guided over 1,000 people without any technical background into moving into their first roles in the tech ecosystem. All right, and my experience spans across GRC in the banking sector, head of control in the fintech, and also a data analyst in a fintech company, and of course, a business consultant. I've worked in the financial sector, I've worked in the capital markets, I've worked in the hospitality industry, and of course, I'm currently in the educational technology sector. Can connect with me across the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're going to have amazing conversations. And with me tonight, I have an amazing cybersecurity expert who is going to be showing us the practical aspect of things and be able to walk us through what we are going to be learning in class. How are you going to be learning? You know, most times people come to me and mention, oh, Chukwemeka, I have this theoretical knowledge already, but I don't have the practical experience of cybersecurity, right? So that's what Toby is going to be showing us tonight. Also walk us through how we can be able to practicalize some of the key areas that we'll be talking about that is going to help us break into the tech industry. And this is Toby. Hi, Toby. Do you want to say hello to the house?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're smiling
Beautiful.
like a picture.
Beautiful. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Oluwatobi Okafor. I'm a cybersecurity expert. My specialty is information security, mostly in VAPT, which we refer to as vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, with a little bit of knowledge in CCNA. As far as I'm concerned, it's a little bit, even though it is CCNA. But yes, I believe that we're going to have fun tonight and be able to gain one or two things on this platform. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Toby. So Toby is trying to not to blow her horns. Toby is a very big cybersecurity person that has experience that spans across both vulnerability testing, pen testing, and of course, she worked as a cybersecurity analyst and also a cybersecurity threat analyst with a couple of companies. And she's certified in various aspects of cybersecurity. So Toby, it's great to have you on the call tonight. Okay, I think my audience tonight is trying not to communicate with me, and I'm going to make them to speak to me. All right. Hi, Amenze. Hi, Chidi. Hi, Anthony. Hi, Prosper. Okay, Prosper, I've said something. Hi, Fatima. Hi, Felix. Hi, Henry. Hi, Innocent. Hi, Oluwatoyin, Josh, Sofela, Phil, Praise, and of course, Ubong Michael. Please, if you heard me, just drop anything in the chat box so that I'll be sure that you can correctly hear what we are talking about. Okay, so if you heard me, please feel free to drop anything in the comment section so that I'll be sure that you heard what you heard introductory parts before we jump right into our discussion tonight. Okay, I can see a couple of comments dropping. Amarachi, thumbs up to you. Henry, hello. Ubong, you are alive. Felix, hi. Chidi, hi. Amanze, hi. It's great to see you guys finally speaking to me, because that's the only way that we are going to have a very great conversation. Okay, so first thing that we are going to be doing tonight is understanding cybersecurity and perfect way to learn, all right, which is through practical aspects. So we're going to understand cybersecurity and see the perfect way that we can be able to learn it. So we may not hinge a lot of talk towards the theoretical aspect. I'll just, breeze through it a little bit, and then Toby will come on board and then, drive us through the practical itself. Then we're also going to see the pathway to becoming a cybersecurity professional and what you need to do for you to be able to move from your exact role into a new role. We have people that have been able to do this, and you also maybe will be the next person that will be able to do it also. And so we're going to walk you through the growth internship program. And last, we'll have the special discount that we have for you, which is specifically for people that joined this exact masterclass. Okay, so I have a couple of game I want us to play. I hope would be able to converse with me. All right, so this is the English vowels. We have A, E, I, O, U. And then let's replace A with 1. Let's replace E with 2. Then let's replace I with 3, O with 4, and then U with 5. Hope we heard me clearly. We have the English vowels. I don't know how many of us that played this game while growing up. I used to be, how do you used to say it? Ajibako. Yeah, I used to be Ajibako that I used to play all this game while growing up. So I hope I have people like me that played this type of games while growing up. Okay, and the next is we need to pronounce the consonants with an R sound after them. Let's also have that in our mind. Now, first is if game equals Gawon Matsu. Remember, we had to, replace the vowels with A equals 1, E equals 2, I equals 3, O equals 4, and U equals 5. Then we're replacing all those vowels with the letters, which means game now equals Gawon Matsu. What will Fawon Matsu be? Let me see people that played this type of game while growing up also. What do you think Fawon Matsu will be if Gawon Matsu equals game, and then we have Fawon Matsu? Please feel free to use the chat box and drop your comments. Feel free to use the chat box and drop your comments. Okay, we have Amarachi. Amarachi said fame. Amarachi, are you correct? Are you sure you are correct? Look at it very well. We have Henry. Henry said fame. Wow. Are you guys sure it's fame? Oluwatoyin said fame. I mean, let me move with the crowd. The crowd is saying fame, so maybe the answer is fame. Yeah, we are all correct actually. The answer is fame. Okay, and next one is now decreed 3 la 4 vatu tatu kaha. You know those days in the class that you be taught 1 plus 1 equals 2, and then in the exam hall you are seeing find the square root of I raised to power 7 plus this and that. But this is actually simple. So with that same algorithm that already we understand, replace A, E, I, O, U with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have 3 la 4 vatu tatu kaha. What does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? I'm actually got the first one. Let me see the first person that is going to get this exact one tonight. 3 la 4 vatu tatu kaha. Do you have people that are trying to solve this exact thing? I mean, these are things that you are going to Fidelia said late. Okay, and she's laughing. I'm sure she knows that can't be the answer. I don't know whether I'm answering the first one, but that's not the answer, late. So let me still wait for someone that will get the answer. Remember, we are replacing A, E, I, O, U with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love tech. I'm actually, where are you from? Where are you from? If I have money, I would have, given you some. But I don't know if you got it. Let's see if others are going to also try and decrypt this exact code that we have here. It's only Amarachi that understood what we are trying to talk about. Amarachi, are you the only one that I think Amarachi saw this expo somewhere? Please tell me you didn't use ChatGPT. Okay, I guess Amarachi is the only person that understands what we are doing tonight. So this is exactly how numbers are assigned to various aspects, and then anyone that has that primary key will be the only person that can be able to decrypt anything that you're talking about. And this is also part of cybersecurity, right? So while we're playing this game while growing up, we didn't really know what we were doing, but this is like a logical illustration of things and how it is also done. Remember, I first of all gave you the keys that A-E-I-O-U equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've given you the keys to decrypt it, and this is how someone can be able to, encrypt maybe email or anything, and it's only the person that has the primary key that will be able to decrypt it, and that's simply how it also works. So we have other ones that we also have here. Please make sure we have this one that is very, very long that you fill the attendance form and watch the recording so that on your own you will try to solve this exact game. Okay, I'm going to move fast so that we don't get to see what the answer is. Okay, but on your own, can now try to solve this exact code that we sent there. So, but what exactly is cybersecurity? Most times people come and say, okay, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity. What exactly is it? So it's actually very, very simple, right? Cybersecurity is just the act of you trying to protect your digital assets from external influence. Okay, so in the cyberspace, we have a couple of the assets that is already existing in the cyberspace. How do you protect these assets from external influence? The same way, if you want to leave your house, you lock your door before you leave. In your WhatsApp, I'm sure a lot of us will have thumbprint, will have face, will have what's it called, code. We'll have like 4 different ways that you can lock your WhatsApp to avoid external influence. This is the same way that cybersecurity specializes in. How do we protect all our assets that exist, all our digital assets from external influence? This is just a simple way you can understand it, which means any digital asset that you have out there, you need to be able to protect. And that's what cybersecurity is all about. And the goal of cybersecurity can just be seen from what we call the CIA triad. So every single thing you be coming across in cybersecurity is hinged on 3 principles, and that's confidentiality, integrity, and of course, availability of data. Okay, it's hinged on these 3 main things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. Prince answered, we all love a good life. I don't know whether this is part of. Oh, okay, that's it. You are doing it for Prince. That's nice. That's nice. I don't know whether you hacked my system, but you didn't get it correctly. Or you didn't get it correctly. Okay, so like I was mentioning, cybersecurity is hinged on these 3 basic aspects: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. And under each of them, can now see the various aspects of it that is linked towards it. Okay, when you talk about encryption, both the data that you have at rest, the one that you have in your in your storage spaces, and also the one in transit, the one you're trying to move using maybe a USB or moving using a drive, as the case may be. How do you protect all those aspects of data from external influence? Okay, and also have tokenization and masking, and of course, access control. In other integrity, we also have message digest, we have digital signature. How do you protect that this exact thing actually came from me? Which means once I send a message, there's a digital signature that is attached to it that at the point that someone receives it, it clearly shows that this message came from Chukwemeka. There is no how I will be able to say, oh no, this is not me, because there is my digital footprint written all over it. And this is where integrity of data comes. And of course, when we talk about availability of data, we'll have the IDS systems where you now talk about your intrusion detection system. How do you make sure that your data is not available for people that is not meant to be for? Okay, and then we'll have patch management, redundancy, hardwares, bars, disk, and data etc. And of course, we also have the service level agreement, which means what are some of the policies that we have relating to how the data will be made available to people. So these are various aspects of things that is embedded inside both the C, the I, and the A. Okay, and these are things that you walk through when you get into any of these classes. So we're just breezing through it theoretically so that we can get instantly to the practical aspect of this session. All right, moving on, people also ask, but how can I learn this properly in 2024? Okay, this is my guy. I always love using this investor because he's a very rich man. Okay, how do I learn this properly in 2024? Okay, so I believe this is the main reason why we are here, because we want to learn cybersecurity, but we don't know how we can be able to walk through this exact path. So the first thing I always try to mention to people is education. You know, everyone always questions this whether education is actually very, very important or you should go and do a different thing. Now, there are various aspects of learning, and how you learn also matters. Okay, and I always tell people that it is very, very, very critical for you to have knowledge. Okay? It is very, very critical for you to have knowledge. Now, I have a question for everyone. Do you think a degree in computer science guarantees you a cybersecurity spot? Let me hear from the guys in the house. Do you think a degree in computer science guarantees you a cybersecurity spot? I think Toby studied the animal science or what did you study again in school? Toby studied statistics, don't mind me. Yeah, I studied statistics. But what I'm trying to mention, okay, I'm glad of some people are saying no, Prosper, no, Amanze, no, Fidelia, no, and it's actually the truth. I was speaking to a top cybersecurity lady, Helen Oluyemi, she be a couple of months back. She studied computer science, but she mentioned that all through her computer science degree, she didn't come across the CIA triad. So imagine going through the 4 walls of school and you didn't pass through understanding the principle on which cybersecurity is hinged on. It simply means that cybersecurity, computer science is not what guarantees you a spot. You now have to do an external type of learning to help you get to this exact spot. And the first is understanding and knowing the basic IT knowledge. So when you now want to move and try to learn cybersecurity, you need to have those basic IT knowledge, what TCP, IP, and DNS and firewalls as the case may be. Okay, and these are ways that we are going to teach. You can see that it is moving from the orange head into the white head. So consider the orange head, our cybersecurity expert that knows some of this. And then the white head is now yours that we're trying to fill with all those knowledge. And these are ways, these are things that you need to know prior for you to be able to say you've learned properly. And also you need to have an understanding of the operating systems, Windows and Linux, and then of course the cybersecurity principles. And then now talk about the core cyber learning, the pen testing, red team, defense and monitoring, blue team, and then your incident response aspects and governance, risk and compliance. So every single thing when it comes to cybersecurity is all about the practical aspect. Okay, you can easily go online and walk through the different operating systems out there, read it, but can you actually use it when the time comes? So that is where education is very, very critical. So these are ways that you get to learn. For instance, this is one of the projects that some of the people that have passed through our classroom had to walk through. This one is called Bizlet Bank Network Expansion using Packet Tracer. Consider it's a project-based learning. So you can also get this slide and be able to see and hear what this exact individual said. But basically, this is what they worked on, right? So let me see if I can breeze through it. So Bizlet Bank is a mid-sized financial institution, and they have been experiencing significant growth over the past few years. To meet increasing demand and expand into the market presence, the bank has decided to open a new branch in your own city. And they've approached you to be able to help them to design and implement a network architecture for the new branch, okay, and to establish a secure connection to the main branch also. So these are ways that you get to learn using practical-based approach. And because you have people that already have the experience, they get to also walk you through some of these. So you can see, first of all, you have to list the business problem and, of course, the expected outcome of this. So next is gain practical experience. It's very, very important, which is what Toby is going to handle tonight. We need to gain practical experience. You need to understand the networking concept and protocols. You need to get proficiency in the operating system, and of course, engage in hands-on projects and labs. I always tell people that you can read anything anywhere. You can read anything anywhere, but when it comes to projects, that's something that you need to be able to have in your own arsenal when it comes to cyber security. And the next is, how are you going to learn? How will you learn? So these are some of the case studies that personally you will be learning with. Okay, you can see case study 1, vulnerability assessment using Nmap. And then you can see that KitCon is a mid-sized company providing online financial services. And they have been experiencing this and that. Okay. And to address this, company has hired you as a cybersecurity consultant to investigate the issue and provide recommendations for securing their network infrastructure. Okay, so from this, what we always do is, first of all, we'll bring out the problem and then state the objective of that exact issue that needs to be solved. And then also list the tools that you'll be learning with respect to that exact practical class. And of course, you're going to see the various steps that you will be handling. So I don't know, Toby, whether you want to take it up from here to drive, or when you get to the last part and now talk about the practical. These are things that we intend to, have a little bit understanding of, and then have the full practical aspect. So you may not fully follow, but just watch and see. Are you saying you will give us various projects to work on which can be placed in CV or portfolio? Yes, Phil. So everything that you are going to be learning, they are all project-based. So each of the key learning areas that you have a project to work on. Okay, you will have a project to work on that you can comfortably put in your CV as project and also build a portfolio from to help you show evidence of your own learning. So I'm going to call Toby up so that Toby can easily run us through one of these practical for us to be able to, understand clearly what and how we are going to be learning when it comes to cybersecurity. Hi, Toby. Are you there? You have the floor. Okay, I hope we are still here. So everyone, please, if you can still hear me, please just drop something in the chat box so that I'll be sure that we are still here before we jump right into Kali to perform a bit of practical. Okay, locked in, Praise locked in, amazing Amarachi, great. Prince something. Prince, you're very funny. Say drop something, you actually drop something. Prosper here. Fidelia, does cybersecurity who covers the GRC aspect of the career? Okay, yeah, cybersecurity, GRC is also a part inside cybersecurity, a career part inside cybersecurity. So inside cybersecurity, we have different domains that you can decide to play in: the red team, the blue team, the purple team. Okay, so it's when you get in that you don't have a decision of where you want to, play from. But I always try to walk people through. You need to have at least a generic understanding of it entirely before now moving into the exact place that you want to be in. Because if you say, okay, I just want to be a GRC person, to be different frameworks that exist, that's just what I want to capitalize on. But if you're building a framework, or if you're trying to explain a framework to someone without having a little understanding of how the practical should look like, it might be a tad bit hard for you to be able to build a sustainable policy. So I always walk people through, have a generic understanding of it. What is GRC? Governance, risk, and compliance. So in the end of the class, we're going to take all these questions so that we don't keep taking questions and then not do what we ought to do tonight. So let's just watch Toby and see the practical that she has to take us through with respect to this vulnerability assessment using Nmap or calendars. Hi, Toby, you have the floor.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so like I said earlier, my name is Oluwatobi, and he has explained to you how we teach. So basically, we teach based on practical learning. The idea is, yes, you can learn the theory anywhere, but you need to be able to practicalize what you know to be able to do a job. And like we all know, cybersecurity is a practical, hands-on kind of job. It's not a career where you can say, oh, I finished 4 years ago, I can still handle it. No, it's a constantly evolving landscape. So it requires you to constantly learn and constantly internalize and constantly, build on your currently gained skills. So what we do in analytics is we teach you the tools in relation to case studies, in relation to real-time situations, in relation to real life happenings or occurrences, or like we call them cybersecurity incidents or events, right? So for this particular case study, we're talking about KitCon Incorporated, which had vulnerabilities within their networked environment, right? So what we'll do is we'll also learn on we also use Nmap to analyze and to assess the network environment. Now, the first scan we're going to do is called a TCP SYN scan, Basically, what it's going to do is to check for open ports within the network environment. Now, before we start to teach normally, we tell students that every single tool within Kali, right, has a manual. Now, to check the manual of each tool, you just use the command man and the tool you want to check. So, for instance, now we want to use Nmap. So before you start, you need to understand what Nmap is and what Nmap can do, right? So you use the manual to understand what Nmap can do. Like, you cannot use any machinery or any tool without having gone through the manual properly. You will not use that tool to the best of its ability. All right. So the first thing we'll do is we'll check through the manual for Nmap, and it tells us the name. It tells us what Nmap can do. It describes Nmap in details. It goes as far as telling us in depth, okay, these are the types of scans that you can run within Nmap. It gives an example, right, of a representation of what an Nmap scan would look like, depending on what you're trying to look for, right? And the beauty of Nmap is it tells a lot of stories if you know how to use it. That is why we recommend understanding and reading through the manual first of any tool you want to use within Kali. So Kali, for instance, has a lot of pre-installed tools, right? Every area in cybersecurity has a tool on Kali. If it doesn't have a tool currently on this particular version of Kali, they are already planning to impute it. If they're not imputing it, you can literally clone it from GitHub. That's how beautiful Kali is, and that's how easy to use the tools are. There's no bloatware in Kali. If it's not necessary, it's not on Kali. All right. If you don't need it, it's not on Kali. That's the beauty of Kali. And as you can see through what I have expanded within my Kali, right? You can see the different kinds of tools, and it is sectioned into what they do. That's the beauty of it. So you don't have to say, oh, I want to do information gathering. Where do I start from? No, Kali tells you where to start from. Kali tells you how to start from. And if you highlight any tool, it tells you what that tool can do even before you open the tool. Now let's go back to Nmap that we're going to use to tell the story of KitCon, right? So now we have seen the what's it called now? The manual of Nmap. We have seen the different types of scripts that we can run. We call them prompts, commands, or scripts, right? Kind of scripts you can run within Nmap or using Nmap. And then we see the different types of things we get. So we can discover the host, we can discover the target, we can learn about the target, we can learn about what type of protocols are available on the target. We can learn what type of ports, right, are available on the targets, and we can also learn the type of version of OS or the type of version of machine that the target IP is using. So let's say you're using a Windows 10 or Windows something, for instance. If I run the proper commands with my Nmap, I will find out what type of what type of machine you are using and the version you are using. So today we're going to actually do that. So I don't hold us up. Let me quickly run us through the type of scan we're meant to run to help KitCon Incorporated. All right. So we're going to quit here so we can go back to our main shell. Right? Beautiful. Okay, so the first scan we're asked to run was a scan to check for open ports, which we refer to as the TCP SYN scan, like I said earlier. And it's just a matter of writing out the tool we want to use and our target IP address or target domain name. Now, in this case, we're going to be using the target IP address because the domain name is not going to give us what we want for this particular case. So our target IP address is 192.168.56.1. All right. This is a basic Nmap scan. It's just the only job it's going to do is to check for open ports. Now, if you see the response I got, it's telling me that the host seems to be down. Now, it's saying that if it is really up, but blocking our ping probes, try -pn. Now, what -pn does is it sees all hosts as up, regardless of whether or not the host is up. It does not care whether it's telling me that you're telling me, oh, don't see me as up, or don't get the ability to scan me, right? So that command -pn is going to scan that target IP, regardless of whether they're up or not, or whether they're trying to filter our access to checking whether they're up. Right? So now we're going to scan it again, adding the prompt -pn. All right. So we're going to say Nmap, our IP address, but before our IP address, we're going to add -P and small n. Now, please understand that you can put this particular command after your IP address. It's not a factor of whether or not the scan will run. all right? Real quick. So let us run this and see what response we get. Note that this is the first scan we were asked to run. And as you can see, just by running this scan, the scan basically checks for 1,000, that's a default scan, right? It checks for 1,000 open ports. And it has shown me that within this particular network environment, I have 6 open ports available and 994 ports are filtered. Basically, I didn't get a response from them. So I don't know whether they're open ports or whether they're closed ports. Do you understand? Now, it has told us the ports, the state of the port, and the service that is running on that port. Basically, if you can see my screen properly, you will see that it's telling me that my Microsoft RPC is open. My NetBIOS is open. NetBIOS is that what's the word now? That beginning of your when you're trying to boot your device, right? When you have that aspect where you can actually go and see details, in-depth details of your device. That is what is telling me it's open. Basically, it means that if I want to attack from that end, I can most likely do that, right? Now, my Microsoft TS is open. My SQL, that is, my SQL is my structured query language. That is a type of programming language, right? That means I can get access into that particular device from the programming aspect of it. That is, I can come in through the command line interface. And then my WST API is open. That is basically like a tunnel that connects the front end to the back end of that particular program. All right. So it's telling me that I have these 6 ports open, which means that if I want to, as an attacker, I can come at this particular environment from these 6 ports. Now, we have only been able to see the ports that are open. We're not able to see the kind of service they have or the version of their service, right? So the next scan we're going to do is a version scan. All right. So the command for that is nmap. Remember that we keep having to add the -pn because we want it to assume that the host is up. So if you want it to keep assuming that the host is up, please always remember to add the dash, capital P, small n. Now we're going to be using the command small s, capital V. My apologies, please. This is to check for service versions, right? And as we already understand, to also check for hosts that are up. Remember that we already know we have 6 ports available, right? So please don't forget that. Now we're going to scan this right quick. So the purpose of this, like I said earlier, is to give us both the open ports and the versions that are available for the different servers that are running on these different ports. All right. So normally nmap can take its time depending on what it's trying to find out. Like if you notice that when I was just scanning just to see whether the ports were open, it wasn't slow. It was done in 5 seconds. But now that I am asking for more information, it is taking 30 seconds approximately to finish, right? And if you read through the report that it's giving us, it tells you exactly what's going on. It tells you that I'm not able to see 994 ports because they are not giving me response, because we know them as filtered ports. And then I'm able to see the remaining 6 and it's telling me the port number, which is for each one, 135, 139, and so on and so forth, the state of those ports. And then it goes further. If you look after all the ports that have been shown, you will see here that is giving me the type of service, the type of OS, and the type of machine. I hope you can all see that where I've highlighted it. It's telling me exactly what service is running on the device or the target or my network environment that I am currently targeting, right? That's the beauty of nmap. Nmap is verbose. Nmap is beautiful. Now, this is actually a good result, right? Now, if you want it to be more verbose basically means you want it to be more detailed. You want it to give you more information. Information is good and dandy, right? But you want more information. What we now want to do is we're going to take this same command we have used already, right? And we're going to add the verbose command. So the verbose command for nmap is a -v, a small v. Now, the idea is the more verbose you want it to be, the more V's you add to it. Now, note that it's a small V you are adding. If you use a capital V, you're asking it to print your result. That's a different thing entirely, right? So now we want just a basic verbose, what's it called, reports. We're going to use a -v. If you want a more detailed result, we're going to use a -vv, that is double V. All right. So this is our third scan to be able to get all of this information that we want more detailed. All right. So now I'm running the scan. As you can see, there's more information coming up. There's more what's it called, stories that have been told, unlike before where we're just told, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it's telling us, okay, I have initiated this, I have completed this, I have initiated that, I have completed that, I am scanning this currently for 1,000 ports, and these are the ports I have found on this particular IP address, right? And I have completed this particular number of scans within this number of times. Beautiful. Now, if you read through this report, unlike the first few reports that we had, this is a lot more verbose. This is a lot more detailed, right? It tells us exactly what time it started the scan, what time it ended the scan, what time it started the other types of scans. So we refer to syntax scans as the three-way handshakes, right? That's basically when you send out an hello across the network and the target IP sends you a response, right? And then you send the information you want to send across. So that is a three-way handshake. So a hello back, and oh, this is why I'm calling out to you. That's a three-way thing. Do you understand? So basically, it told you that it had completed a three-way handshake first, and then it scanned through. So it told you when it started scanning through, it started script scanning at this part after doing the normal service scan, right? And then it completed the script scanning, and then it gave us our report. So if you see it here, it told you here that I have completed my script scanning, and this is my report for this particular IP address. So first it's telling you the host is up, these are the services, this is the version of the service that I have found on the target IP destination, and these are the reasons why these targets are not what they should be. So for instance, telling you that, oh, okay, it's Microsoft Windows RPC. So it's not just Microsoft or not just Windows, it's Microsoft Windows RPC, it's Microsoft Windows Net BIOS SSN, right? And it's telling you, okay, this is my SQL is unauthorized. And then if you come down here, I don't know if you are noticing it, on this particular port, it's telling you that the target IP or the target device or the target network environment is currently being run on an unsecure transfer protocol. Now, typically, when you send something on the internet and you are browsing within a web page or a browser, right? If you look up in your URL text slot, you will see that most of the time you have HTTPS, right? Before you have the colon and the forward slash and the forward slash and then the domain name you're trying to get to. And usually when it's finished loading, you have a padlock on the end or what's it called, on the left-hand side of your URL tag, right? Now, this is telling you that if you check that correctly within that target destination, you realize that they don't have that padlock within their URL. It is basically an unsecure transfer. So basically everything they're doing across the internet can be seen in plain text. It means that it is not secure, it's not encrypted. All right. So if an attacker wants to come at them from this point, they don't have to stress so much. They only have to perform what we refer to as a man-in-the-middle attack, or using a sniffing tool, or just a listening tool. And they will get their login credentials, they can get their details. So if they happen to go to their bank app whilst an attacker is trying to get into their device or their network environment, the attacker will definitely get their bank login details and their bank passwords and all the things that make them secured for their bank, because they are running it across an unsecured network. That's a problem that KitCon apparently currently has, right? And that is the third time we're asked to run. Now, remember that we're also looking for vulnerabilities. Remember that, right? So the fourth scan that we're going to be running, or let me say the third, right, we're going to be running, is what we refer to as a vulnerability script scan. So basically what you want to do is do the typical nmap, right? But this time around, we're going to be removing the SV and replacing it with a script that will ask us to check for vulnerability. So this is basically telling nmap to please look for vulnerabilities within our target destination. All right, so we're saying that, okay, nmap, please scan for open ports. Please also scan for what do you call it now? For the service that is currently using, and also scan for the versions as well as the possible vulnerabilities that you have available. Now, what I like to do is to actually scan for vulnerabilities without including the service, because we've already gotten information about the types of service that this particular target has, right? So what we're going to do is run this script, and it's going to go through it and check for vulnerability. Now, it's no longer checking for whether you have services running or you have versions running. Now we know the kind of services that are running. Now, what a typical attacker will do is take these versions, take these services, go on what we refer to as the CVE, that is common vulnerabilities, and then the CVSS, that's common vulnerability scoring systems, right? And go and check against the versions that the target currently has, and their OS, and their type of machines, and the type of services. And then once it has done that, once they have done that, once the attacker has done that, they now use what they have found, what they know as the vulnerabilities of this particular target to attack them. So just because you are scanning and you are seeing that, okay, this person is giving me this answer, this person is giving me that answer, what exactly am I supposed to use this to do? All right. So now to make it easy for us, we have scanned for vulnerabilities. Basically, we don't have to go and look for vulnerabilities anymore. We come here and then we have vulnerabilities. So if you go back up, let me go right up so that we can actually see what we are dealing with within this target audience. So we can read through the report so we know exactly how dangerous it is to have this type of vulnerability within your device. So basically, it's telling us that, okay, I have done my pre-scanning, I have done my SYN what's it called, handshake, basically the three-way handshake. I have found this open port, and within this open port, the first thing that I found is that there is a TLS ticket bleed. Basically, it's telling you that it is not running because there's no privileges. It means that if I come into this particular device, I don't need to start looking for admin privileges. Basically, because I am coming in from whoever is running this particular network environment. Basically, they have admin privileges, or they have like escalated privileges, right? So whatever I want to access within that device, I can access it. I don't have to start looking for other credentials. I don't have to start looking for more information, right? I can access it. That's just the first thing we have found, right? And next you see that it says, oh, it was able to easily bypass the firewall, which is risky. You and I know that your firewall is protecting from a lot of ads, pop-ups, spyware, adware. Basically, these are malicious scripts that are written into ads, or written into games, or written into so-called necessary, I don't know, applications, like your quote and unquote, your cleaner, those cleaners that come with Android devices, right? You'll be thinking, okay, this is a basic cleaner now. I can download it from the internet. I don't need to stress too much. It's not a problem. And then you realize that it's supposed to be a cleaner for your phone, right? But it starts to increase in size. You have inadvertently downloaded an adware, or what we refer to as a Trojan, right? Basically, it's telling us that it is very easy for an attacker like me or somebody else to install such applications on this target device or target environment, and they will not notice because they do not have the firewalls in place to do the needful. All right, that's just two of the vulnerabilities that we have found. Now, if we go further down, we realize that this is just like basically telling us that there's so much more to find if you only enter. Now, if you have your door open, okay, let's say for instance, you are building an apartment, or you're building a house, and you have your door open, right? Let's say you don't have doors, you don't have windows, right? And you build the fence, you don't put a gate in, you don't even put maybe all these broken shards of glass on your fence. You're basically inviting even goats to come in. That's what we have here. Because there's nothing blocking any Tom, Dick, and Harry from coming into this environment, it means that anybody can just come in and say, oh, fine, I want to access this environment and do what I want to do. Nobody's going to hold me, because first of all, they don't have a firewall that is blocking me from coming in. Secondly, there is the way they come in is basically coming in from the opening that typically the head of house or the owner of the house will come in through. So I don't need to even look for privileges. That's a bad thing to have, right? It means that there's so many problems going on with KitCon that need to be solved as quickly as possible. First of all, starting what we refer to as access control, that is limiting who can get in and what they can get access to. And the second thing they need to also work on is their multi-factor authentication, and then their passwords, and then most importantly, their firewall. They do not have anything in place that is protecting them from attacks, because if it's so easy for me to send this vulnerability is referred to as the 7-message board. Basically, what makes me easy for me to send messages across within my environment. If it is telling me that what's the word now? As you can see here, there is nothing protecting my messages. It's vulnerable. Now, what an attacker can do is just carry this entire report, take it to the CVE, go through it and check for what types of things can I use this kind of vulnerability to do within an environment. Now, coming from a point of view of a pen tester or an ethical hacker, I'm basically going to be looking for how to gain as much privileges as possible, because basically it means I can read all their messages. So it means that I can get access to all their login credentials, and I can gain access to everything that makes them protected or think they are protected within that network or that device. Do you understand my point? So it's like we say in Nigeria, it's rough play. It's rough play. They don't have anything protecting them. Now, if you look down here, you will see what they called the Samba vulnerable CVE, and it even gives you a date and time. Now, the beauty of CVEs are that they are named and they are numbered. So you don't even have to stress so much. You can literally just go on Google and just type in this particular CVE and the number, and it will give you step by step exactly what that vulnerability is about and what it can do within a device, right? So what we will do is carry this CVE number and then go to our database, at the CVE database under the Meta framework, and then check for all the things that this thing can do, and then start to remediate, start to fix them. Because if you don't fix these things, just because you say, oh, I have a firewall down, I can literally install a firewall, right? And I say, okay, I'm safe. I don't want to spend money as a company. Oh, you have privilege issues. Oh, I can say I've used a better password, right? So I think I'm safe. Now, you've forgotten that you also have other different types of vulnerabilities. Now, if you come back up here, I don't know if you are looking at this. If you come back up here, you see the numerous types of vulnerabilities that we have found within this. So it has not been able to do what we call injections. Injections are how you come into a web application or a website by putting a different type of endpoints, or let me not use the word endpoint, or a different type of page, a landing page, attach it to the URL that is already there, and see if it will allow you to access that particular landing page, like the admin page, or access the password page, or access the what we call the robot.txt page, which normally contains all the details of what the web page or web application or website is about. Now, this is telling us that we don't have that access. Luckily for them, they don't have that problem. They don't have a lot of problems, but problems that they have are enough for me to gain access and gain information, which is what they are trying to battle and trying to solve. All right. So I think we have been able to see how vulnerable KitCon is. Chukwemeka, do you want to continue, or should I Hi, Chukwemeka, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Toby. Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, amazing. I don't know whether you want to, did you walk through the report? Because I have the report in the end on how some of it looks like. Do you want to walk through it, or the sample reports?
I'm sorry, I did not hear the last part.
Okay, do you want to walk us through the sample report in the slide also, or should I do that?
Yes, I think I have that up. So
Okay.
let me see if I can quickly walk us through that so that we can see what we are dealing with. So like I said, you are running a vulnerability assessment, and you have done all of this with your Nmap, within your Kali. You have been able to get the results and all of that. So like we said, a typical assessment is not just about finding the problems. You also need to tell these people to them what
Yeah, can anyone hear me? I
was
think,
done. So
please confirm
when you're
that you can hear
preparing,
me.
you are not just giving it to the IT team. Yes, we can hear you, Chukwemeka. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think you were breaking up at a point, so I wanted to know if I should jump in, but go ahead. All right. Okay, I think Toby is breaking up. So I'm going to quickly also run us through what she was trying to mention. So after everything you've performed, you're going to come up with a sample report like this that is going to show the vulnerabilities that you've been able to discover. Okay, so you can see that the IT team has identified a potential security breach within the network infrastructure. Initial investigation have uncovered the following critical vulnerabilities. So there's also need for you to be able to understand how to be able to present your report. So we have two things that you need to learn: the technical aspect of things and also the presentation aspect of things and report presentation. So right here, you're going to be able to communicate things that you've seen from that exact technical things that we're able to carry out. You can see some of the critical vulnerabilities, security level high, that the remote code execution vulnerability on multiple web servers, and so on and so forth. You can see the privilege escalation vulnerability, and also see weak or missing encryption of sensitive data. So you'd see the various categorization of all these issues, from high to high severity to medium severity vulnerabilities, to also the small and also weak vulnerabilities as well. So your own aspect to be able to have a recommendation to remedy some of these activities. And of course, it's going to be something that is practical, because you're not recommending to the management that, oh, we should do this or we should do that. It's from the aspect of, for this exact challenge that we had, from this critical vulnerability that is the level is high that we saw, we are going to do this. Right now, you're not seeking the management or maybe your team lead's approval that let us do this. Maybe it's the one that requires external funding or the one that requires just the team within the house to do, for you to be able to do it. For instance, if you look at for the medium severity vulnerabilities, you can see outdated softwares. So in this exact place, there's a need for you and your team to be able to make sure that the softwares are updated, and also weak passwords that you discovered. You need to enforce strong password policies, including a rotation and multi-factor authentication. So these are things I've seen from those vulnerability assessments, and you are now recommending and implementing it instantly. There was a company I was with before now. What we they had a cycle that after this so and so period, you have to repeat, you have to get, put in a new password. So it was just like a cycle. And it made you maybe every 30 days, you are thinking of a new password to use. Not like you've been in a company and the same password you've been using since your first year, the same password you're using in the 6th year. It simply means that you are a weak link in that exact company. So it's from all these assessments that cyber experts tend to see and also be able to make recommendations to the management, and of course be able to implement some of those activities. I don't know if we've been able to get something and how you are going to be learning in our classroom. So if you've been following us till this very moment, please just drop in anything in the chat box so that I'll be sure that there are people that were listening to us before we move to the next stage of this discussion. Okay.
Sorry, Chukwemeka, before you continue,
okay,
I'd like to also add, based on the question that somebody asked earlier about GRC, that if you notice those recommendations, they are things that are taken from standards and from frameworks. So GRC is not just a standalone part of cybersecurity. It is part of what you include when you're recommending, because they have to comply, right? They have to have structure in place. They have to have policies in place. So it is not that you would learn it only at the end of your vulnerability assessment or at the end of your program. It's that you learn how to do the reporting from the beginning of your program as you do each case study, including GRC principles in every step of your journey. So it's not a standalone thing as a knowledge, but it's a standalone thing as a career. That is to the person that asked the question about learning about GRC earlier. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks so much for that, Toby. Thank you so much. Okay, so I don't know if there are people that have been able to work with us from the beginning to this exact moment. Okay, I can see Praise has sent in a reaction. I can see Oluwatoyin, I can see or Justice. Is the only 3 people that moved from us from the beginning to this very moment. Phil is asking, what about referencing? Because it's one of the things to get to interview stage to be able to defend, but when it comes to referencing, how do you prove that? All right, Phil, so I'm going to handle that in the later part of this discussion. Okay, so some of those questions, by the end of this class, you get answers to it, okay? By the end of this class, you definitely get an answer to most of them. So we just handled to show you how you should learn in this 2024, or if you are to start over in cybersecurity, how will you learn? I had a friend. So he studied theoretically, even wrote a couple of certifications, but he couldn't land anything because he wasn't technically sound. So he was not asking me where did he get it wrong. And it's simple. Most companies, when it comes to the tech ecosystem, want someone that is hands-on, right? They want someone that can 100% be hands-on and say, okay, this is the challenge we are having. We are going to do this, and the person is going ahead to do it. So if you are the kind of person that have had the theoretical aspect and you need to also upskill for you to be able to get the technical, which is going to help you to land a role. So in cybersecurity, it's not just the technical aspect. The theory is important. Don't get me wrong. The theory is very, very important. And so is the technical aspect of things. Because you are someone that needs to be able to protect their system. And if you look through my screen, you can also still see some of the uprising issues in some of the locations that is across the world. You can see Pakistan man charged with cybercrime linked to riots in Britain. So on day-to-day basics, there are things that is happening in the cyber world that is showing that the cyberspace needs someone like you. Okay, there are a couple of issues in different countries when it comes to cyber security, and it simply means that there is high demand in this exact space. Okay, just for instance, when we had an outbreak, COVID-19, right? We all saw how there was also an increase in the requirements for health workers. Okay, there was an increase in the requirement of health workers. So because of these constant issues in the cybersecurity domain space, rather, there is also need for people to be in the cybersecurity career path. You can see Africa was hit as cybersecurity soared 30% globally. I mean, and I believe almost everyone on this call, we are all Africans. Possibly you're African living in UK, African living in US or Canada, or even African living in Africa. There is still also opportunity for you to break into this exact career path and be able to leverage and work in it fully. Okay, so if you look at the job outlook, let's just quickly walk through this job outlook as well. In 2023 alone, the monetary damage caused by cybercrime, the ones that were reported in US Internet Crime Complaint Center, saw a year-over increased demand of 21%, and it amounted to a historical peak of 12.5 billion in US. Okay, so this will tell you how about the ones they were not reported. Okay, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, people are also, companies are losing funds, and most time they don't even report it because if as a company I lost funds due to cyber attack or something like that, do you think I'm going to come out and report it? Because it simply means I'm vulnerable. Right? And once I report, oh, I'm vulnerable, other people are going to try to also exploit that vulnerabilities. And even customers are going to lose faith in you. So imagine the ones that were bold enough to report. We saw 12.5 billion that was lost in US dollars for last year. Okay. And simply put, it means that we have over 1 million plus jobs available by 2020 with less than 400,000 trained available cybersecurity experts. Okay. And there's a projection that by 2025, we'll be looking at 3.5 million openings. Okay. We'll be looking at 3.5 million openings. You can easily click on this cybersecurity jobs report and be able to assess some of these discussions that we're talking about here. Okay, so Jibola is asking for the attendance sheet. Okay, Ubong, please drop the attendance sheet for everyone to be able to access it. So guys, remember, when you fill the attendance sheet, that's what we are going to use to send the slide of this discussion to you and also the recorded aspects, all right? Remember, the practical may not be in the slide. So you need the recording for you to be able to watch and see how Toby was able to carry us along with some of the practicals that we carried out. So please ensure that you fill the attendance form so that by the end of this exact discussion, you will be getting all the things that we've discussed. So there are also a couple of jobs that exist in the cybersecurity space. We have the digital forensic analyst, you have the pen tester, you have the application pen tester also, you have the SOC analyst, you have a couple of roles, which means you can be in the technical aspects and it can also be in the non-technical aspect. You can see things like incident responder, right? You can see things that is also like forensic analyst also. You can see things, there are a couple of non-technical roles that we didn't list yet, but you can be in both the people that are technical, can also be in the aspect of people that are non-technical. But most importantly, there is need for you to have a generic understanding of the place you are trying to get into. So you can see things like GRC, okay? So GRC is basically a framework that ensures alignment with business goals, manages risks, and meets the regulatory requirements, right? And then we have the research analyst, okay? We also have the research analyst, which is someone that is involved in studying emerging threats. You have the user access manager, okay? It can be in a company that they require someone to be able to manage access control. Maybe have a work class that everyone that is maybe a level 2 in this company have this exact work class, which means that work class can only enable you to access certain amounts of data. We have people that are job on day-to-day basis to make sure that everyone is on that exact work class. And that's where you have the user access manager. You have the security awareness trainer, people that their own job is to make sure that they train the company on the emerging threats that they've noticed in the ecosystem. So there are a couple of non-technical areas that exist. We even have the social engineer. The social engineer that the people of the world today are trying to exploit the bad way. Okay, these are the people that try to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential information, right? And basically, companies do this for them to be able to build an environment that is fully secure. Okay, so it's not just the technical aspect alone that exists. There's also this non-technical aspect of cybersecurity. Like I mentioned, there are several teams that we have in cybersecurity. You have the blue team, you have the red team. The blue team basically they are focused on defense. So they are focused on defense, internal security team. They monitor, identify vulnerabilities, and also they implement security measures and respond to incidents. Why the red team basically they are attack minded. Okay, so they are there to test the organization defense. So why the blue team are building defense is to make sure nobody penetrates our system. The attack guys, the red team, they're constantly trying to break that exact system that the blue team has worked on. Okay, so basically this means a balanced aspect. Someone is building defense, someone is attacking. So it simply means if the attacker is able to break the defense, it means that our defense is vulnerable. Okay, but if the attacker is not able to break the defense, it means that the company is secured. So on day-to-day basics, these are the constant wars that goes on the cybersecurity team. Okay, so the red team, they constantly perform all those penetration testing and social engineering activities so that they can be able to simulate the real world issues that the company might be having. So instead of waiting till someone is able to exploit their system, the company in-house have people that are trying to exploit the system also. So at any point that they are able to break in, it simply means that this means that we need to build. We need to rebuild and be able to model in such a way that nobody can get into our system. So, but how can you get into the cybersecurity career path? I mean, this is a question that everyone always asks. How do I break into the cybersecurity career path? So it is simple. Okay, it is simple. I'm going to just walk us through the key learning areas that we have here. All right. And first is you are going to basically understand computing and networking. So if you walk through the foundations of computing, the security features, the hardware-based encryption, how you do your security boot, how you do your dedicated security co-processor. So everything that you will be learning, they are all fully practical based. Right? You also be walked through both the Windows operating system, the Linux operating system, and of course the Mac operating system. All right. Then under networking, you also get to understand what LAN is, what WAN is, and of course what MAN is. Then the different topologies, the bus style, the star, the ring, the mesh, and the tree. The different network topologies that exist in case you want to deploy a network, which one is going to be very, very suiting to the type of deployment that you want to do. So you're going to be walked through all this process. And of course, network fundamentals, understanding the protocols, understanding IP addressing, understanding OC model, and then TCP and IP models. So all this is what you're going to learn under foundation of computing and networking. Remember, it is fully practical based. So you're going to be using both Linux operating system, both Cisco packet tracer, and of course Wireshark for you to fully understand the aspects of computing and networking. Then we'll move into introduction to cybersecurity principles. Okay, here it will be a little bit theoretical, but then there's also practical attached to it. All right, because if you don't understand the concept of the principle of information security, then there's a whole lot of challenge you're going to face in the cybersecurity ecosystem. Okay, there's a whole lot of issues that you are going to experience in that exact space. Okay, and then you also have the other aspect that talks about the history or evolution of cybersecurity and many more. Before we now move into offensive and defensive cybersecurity. Offensive and defensive cybersecurity, talking about the cyber attackers, different types of attacks that you can face, and then of course the kill chain, that's information gathering. How do you go about this exact concept? You have to carry out your reconnaissance, the different types of reconnaissance that you need to do, and of course your system testing and vulnerability testing, and of course pen testing. So this is where you get to have the full practical based aspect of vulnerability testing, pen testing, and also systems testing. Then after that, you now move towards your cyber threats and attack vectors. Okay, cyber threats and attack vector, where you get to understand what a malware is, the different virus, worms, trojans, and of course ransomware. Okay, what do they mean in this exact ecosystem? Then your phishing and your whaling. You need to also understand some of these attacks that you can experience, some of these threats that is already a big factor in your ecosystem. You also will walk through DOS, that's denial of service, and also DDoS attacks. DDoS attacks, that's distributed denial of service. So basically, all these are all practical based aspects where you also be put through this. And also you'll be walked through the network security aspect, firewalls that has to do with all these, the IDS, that's intrusion detection systems, and intrusion prevention systems. So there are ones that detect all those intrusions, and also have systems that tends to prevent intrusion. So you'll be walked through this, and also you'll also be walked how you can leverage a security and information event management system like Splunk. That's a CM2. So if you're going to work as a SOC analyst, how do you analyze some of these threats that is coming in using that CM2? So you'll be walked through all these, and of course, you also get to understand the VPNs and your wireless network security. So next one is endpoint security. How do you utilize antivirus and anti-malware solutions? What are the different ones that exist out there for you to be able to build a very secured system? And also, what's the endpoint detection and response? That's EDR. How do you perform all this? How do you also perform your patch management and software updates? What are the necessary things that you need to do? What's the MDM, which is mobile device management? You know, these days, most companies say BYOD. That's bring your own device this time around. It's not bring your own drink. It's bring your own device, right? So it means that people are bringing their own device into the company. But as a cybersecurity person, what do you do to protect the company's information that even exists in people's devices? That's where you have your mobile device management system. So you need to be able to understand all this so that you can build a more secured environment. And of course, you have your web and application security, your secure coding practices, and of course, your web application firewalls. How do you implement them? Then also cloud security, where you talk about your basics of cloud computing, your SaaS, and also cloud cyber security best practices. Okay, cloud cyber security best practices. Then incident response and forensics, your phases of incident response. If an attack happens on your organization, what are the first things that you need to do? Okay, what are digital forensics basics for you to understand, and the evidence of the collections for that exact attack that happened, and the preservations and prevention mechanics that you're able to put into place. So all these are all practical based learning. They are all practical based learning. And also you get to understand the cybersecurity career and certifications, and also the policies that also exist in this exact domain. So you will walk through the different policies, the framework aspects, and also the certifications that you need to pursue in later years. So basically, you will walk through these different key learning areas, cutting across both network security, endpoint security, working at pen test, and also SOC analyst. Then you're going to also learn several tools. You're going to learn your VMware, you're going to learn your Wireshark, you're going to learn your Linux Bob suite, Nmap, Nexus, and of course, Linux operating system. So the learning timeline is for 4 months, where you learn massively in the classroom for 3 months. Okay, it means that constantly for 3 months, you'll be in the classroom having practical-based approach learning, where we're going to cover all these things that I've mentioned. And then the other 1 month, you're also going to use it for your internship experience. So the internship experience will have a simulated real-life project where different teams comes to work on it. Okay, different teams comes to work on that example. So you're going to have a real-life experience of what it means to work as a cybersecurity person. Sorry about that. Then your class holds every Saturday live classes. So they are all real life classes, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And then in the evening, we'll have an evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. So why the time is like this is because people in Africa, Europe, UK entirely tends to favor towards the morning class, while people in North America, Canada, and basically North America tends to tilt towards the evening class, because 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. is roughly 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time. Okay, so this is you being able to choose the one that fits your own schedule. Please, it is morning or evening, not morning and evening. So your class is just once every Saturday. You're going to have a 3-hour session. Either you're in the morning class or you are in the evening class. I know people also ask, oh, if I miss morning class, can I join the evening class? No. So why we make it so is because it will confuse you the more, right? It will confuse you the more because morning class might be faster or they might be slower, and then the evening class, they are faster. So depending on how people are grasping what is being taught, that's what determines the pace of that exact class. Okay, someone is already asking, can't you attend the 2 classes? No, you can't. So you need to be able to be in one. For instance, if I'm in the morning class, and because morning class is very slow, maybe people have people that don't have any experience because they're all beginner friendly, and everybody in that morning class have zero knowledge. So it means it's going to be very, very slow. Whereas in the evening class, you have people that already have little knowledge, so they tend to move a little bit faster. If I miss morning class and decide to join the evening class, maybe evening class have moved to offensive and defensive cybersecurity. Right? Whereas in the morning class, we are still in maybe using how do you use Cisco Packet Tracer. So if you now decide to move to the other class, it's going to disorient your learning because you're moving to a class that is very fast and they've already passed where you were. So we always advise people to stick to their own class because that helps everyone to be able to flow along. Then the next is the classes are also recorded, Fidelia, right? So they are recorded that even if you missed the class, you have the real life recording uploaded to your classroom. Okay, so we have a learning management system, which I'm going to show us in the next minute. The learning management system allows you to be able to watch all those videos after. So let me quickly go to it. So once you're onboarded, you are going to have access to, oh shit, I'm showing my screen. Once you're onboarded, you're going to have access to this analytics platform. All right, so you're going to have access to this analytics platform. And right here, all your learning materials will be here for you. All right, all your learning materials will be here for you. So let me quickly go to my dashboard. All right, let me quickly go to my dashboard. So even if you miss any class, the recorded version of this class will be uploaded for you here. Okay, so because why we did it, we had instances where someone missed a class because they were having extra shifts or maybe personal engagement or possibly family issues or maybe health grounds. So even if you missed any class, the recorded version of that class will be uploaded for you here for you to watch at your own convenience, right? And then during the week, when you have any challenge, we'll have what we call drop-in sessions for you to be able to even ask questions. Oh, maybe Toby is the one taking your class, and you're not saying, oh, Toby, I was trying to watch the recording over the weekend, and I had this challenge. Please walk me through this. But there has to be the aspect of you already going through it, which means you're asking a constructive question. Oh, Toby, I'm trying to walk through this, but I didn't get it. Please walk me through. So you have a specific question that you are asking. okay? And then on Sundays, you get short bite videos, 10 to 15 minutes, introducing you into deeper concepts. And then on Saturday, you have a practical aspect of it, okay? So how it works is that Saturday, you have a live class, one-on-one class. You have someone like me in that exact class teaching you. Then Sundays, you get videos that you're going to watch during the week. And then on Saturday of that exact week, there will now be another live class, and then it continues. So this is to help you be able to move at your own pace also, even though we tend to push everyone to move faster. Okay, so and that's the beauty of communal learning, because when you are dropping by, someone is there to also push you forward. Okay, but after all this thing, like someone is still asking the question, but how can you help me transition within 4 months? So where do we come in? I know there are a couple of questions relating to CV reviews, there are a couple of questions relating to references and other things. So this is where we tend to break it down for you also. So for you to move into the tech job, for you to land a cybersecurity role, there are basically some steps that you need to be able to take. And the first one is to identify your desired tech career path. Okay. And I believe that by virtue of you being on this call, there's a level of understanding that you want to be a cybersecurity expert. So you've made that initial identification step. Next is for you to educate yourself. And how do you educate yourself? By learning and registering with an institute. And that's where we come in. Okay. And the next step is, how do you now gain product-based experience? So all the key learning areas that you have, they are all going to be practical based. They are all going to be practical based. So let me quickly show us the Google Classroom so that we also get to see how you can also be able to learn. All right. So in the Google Classroom, here, let me just quickly go to one of the classes that is currently going on. Okay. Let me quickly go to one of the classes. This is October. No, please, we'll help you practicalize. Okay. All right. Let me quickly go to this October, September. Okay, let me go to September class. Now, if you come September class, cybersecurity September, this should be it. So if you click on this September class, you're going to see how they are learning on each day that they come to class. So when you join, you also have access to some of this classroom. Now, you only be in one classroom, okay? You're not going to have these multiple access. So you're going to be in this classroom. And right here, we are going to see, first thing they had is introduction to computing. But before then, they've had some onboarding sessions, some drop-in sessions, and of course, introduction to computing. All right. And right here, you're going to see the material that they use. This is the video of that exact class, the recorded video for them to also watch. For people that missed the class, okay, they're going to see, okay, these people were assigned assignments also, and people that have also been able to turn it in. So let's look at the first thing that they actually had in class. So this is the slide that they use for that introduction, foundations of networking and computing. Okay, Toby was the one that took that exact class. I can see the various things that they were able to handle. Okay, so quickly, let me just scroll down so that we are able to see the case study that they worked on. So you can see right from the first day in class, they're already looking at a case study, security vulnerabilities in CPUs, okay, the meltdown and spectral vulnerabilities. And right here, they were able to understand this using project-based approach. Now, let me go to their second class. We talked about networking introduction. This is the class material. This is the video of that exact class, which will be uploaded for them to watch, for people that missed the class or for people that didn't understand, for them to go through it after that exact session. You can also see the slide for that exact class, some of the past week's topic, which means what they learned last week. They also breeze through the summary before moving into the new one. Okay, you're going to see, because this is a fully networking class, you are going to understand the different topologies for you to be able to flow easily. You're going to see the case story that they also worked on. You can see a growing company, Tech Corp, has recently expanded and needs to recognize its network to improve performance and security. The company currently has one large network with the IP range of this, which supports up to 254 devices. However, they want to divide this network into smaller subnets to separate different departments and reduce network congestion. So you can see this is a case study that they are working on with respect to networking. And right here, you're going to see the objective. They need to create 6 subnets for different departments: HR, IT, sales, marketing, finance, and admin. Because on day-to-day basics, actually, these are things that you get to experience in the company. Okay, these are the different things that you get to experience in the company. And then the step you are going to take to solve this and the subnetting calculation. Of course, you're going to be walked through the manual aspect of calculating this. And afterwards, you're going to also be walked through how you can utilize a subnet calculator to get your subnets. So these are things that you are going to be doing day-to-day basics using practical. So you can see after working on this exact practical, there is no how you're going to forget what you learned. So it's not a theory class where you come and learn, okay, what is subnetting? How do I do this subnet? No, they are all fully practical based. Same thing with introduction to cybersecurity and of course, information security principles. Each thing that you are learning, they all have a case study attached to it. And that's where gaining project-based experience come in with respect to what we are teaching you. Then the next is for you to be able to gain employability skills. So someone asks about references. So that is where this exact slide comes in. I always tell people for you to land a role, it's not only one thing that is involved. You need to be able to learn how to, of course, do your CV optimizations. And also, how do you network? How do you build within your exact community? These are things that will also help you with. Because when someone in your class is getting offers and offers, we've had instances where someone got a job and then he was still getting offers. What he did was that he asked the recruiter, can I recommend someone in the same company with me that is looking to move to good things? The recruiter said no issues, and he recommended 2 of his classmates, and one got that exact role. So these are the importance and the steps for you to transition. And next one is mentorship. Mentorship is very, very important for you to know what you need to know for it to transition. So all this always seems impossible until it is done. We have a couple of people that have been able to move from one of the initial jobs they were doing into the tech ecosystem. Okay, so we've had people move from care work, people move from being a pharmacist, people moving from being a customer service into one of the tech career paths that we offer. And you also can be the next person. And it's just simple. Using this 6-step approach, today, someone can be on this call, oh, my name is Fidelia, and I'm a teacher. Okay, Fidelia decides to identify cybersecurity as a step that she wants to take, and she now decides to register and learn using project-based approach. Then the next one is to gain the employability. Fidelia is clapping for me to gain employability skills and also network, and finally pass through the mentorship stage. And maybe 4 months after, Fidelia is coming out. Hi guys, my name is Fidelia, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst. So it is as straight line as it is. There are no 2 ways about it. Okay, and when we talk about cybersecurity, people think, oh, once you are done, you're only going to be applying to jobs that is just in the cybersecurity side. No, you can be a cybersecurity analyst. You can move into SOC analyst. You can also apply to roles that is in the network security engineer, incident response analyst, pen tester, cyber threat analyst, and of course, security compliance analyst, and others. So it doesn't just limit you into one, which is why we've been able to distribute our curriculum to cover some of these areas. So it's now for you to build on them and be able to break into the tech career path. So I always tell people one thing. Some people will tell you, oh, this seems too hard. I don't even want to go into it. But if you don't try, you only have one line. You only have one line of activity, which is failure. But when you try, you've created a second line of action, which means it's now either you fail or you succeed. So I always tell people to ask yourself that one question. What if I succeed? You know, most time people always tend to ask the negative question. What if I fail? What if I don't get a job? What if this happens? But what if it all works out? What if you succeed? Okay. And then how do we also help you to put a certain level of percentage into the success part than your failure part? So how do we guarantee that you are tilting towards the success part? It's using our winning formula, right? Which is technical skill plus employability skill, which is definitely going to give you the job offer. So it is not just the technical skill aspect that will give you an offer. So you need both the T and the E. So technical skills speaks about all those technical things we've been talking about: network security, web security, endpoint security, and others, right? Now, the employability skills is what separates you from others. Okay, this is what separates you from any other person out there. And one is CV review session. And people think is like a walking signboard of you. Hi, Obong, please confirm that I can still hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Your CV is like a walking signboard of you. So, and if you are not able to build it in a way to reflect things that you know, it's not going to help you land that exact role. So what we do is that we also teach students how to prepare their CVs. We'll give you a template, and then we'll now teach you how do you constantly optimize on these templates. Because the mistake we make on day-to-day basics is one CV that we have, that same CV we're using to apply to several roles. The same CV that you are using to apply to a cloud security engineer, that same CV you're using to apply to be an endpoint security person, that same CV that you're using to apply to be an incident responder. So each of those roles that you're trying to apply to, you need to be able to tailor your CV to suit that exact domain. And if you're able to do it using the matching principles of CV optimizations, right? By using the keywords that exist in that exact job description, you are at least going to scale that initial applicant tracking system. Okay, this is the one that maybe a computer is doing to see various people that are not qualified for that role. But if you're able to match your CV appropriately, you'll pass that initial stage. Okay, and then the next is for you to come and defend and speak, and then the assessment stage level. Okay. Then also we'll have the LinkedIn optimization session. So if you go to on LinkedIn and search analytics, you're going to see a couple of people, making constant impact, talking about their journey, posting things, posting topics, and speaking. Because it's very, very simple. If I want to hire today, what I do is that when I go to LinkedIn, I was trying to hire someone for a lead generation system. I went on LinkedIn and searched Apollo.io, and it brought out everyone that made a post about Apollo.io, and I simply headhunted at that moment. But if you are trying to break into a space and you've done just your profile optimization, but you're not constantly talking about that topic, if someone comes and search, the possibility that it will pop up might be low, right? Because your profile will just show, okay, this is who I am. But things that you speak, things that you talk about, tends to portray you more. So even though you are going to optimize your profile, we still have what we call the consistency challenge, where we encourage our students, anything you are learning, be posting it. Anything you are learning, be posting it. You need to coin it in a way that it sounds very professional. Because these are things that recruiters are going to say, oh, we're talking about network security, we're talking about information security. Walk me through your thought process on that. Because they've seen what you've done. Okay. But if you've not done anything at all, they don't even have you to capitalize to ask you a question. And also we'll walk you through Upwork optimization. How do you play in a contractual space that you can be in UK, you are getting small side income on Upwork, and also be in US and in a different company, and so on and so forth. Then number 4 is, how do you navigate the job market? One challenge that most professionals also have is not even knowing the places to search for. Okay, not even knowing the places to search for. So we walk our students through the different platforms that exist that they can constantly be applying to jobs from. You have your read.co.uk, you have Wellfound, you have Indeed, and so on. There's so many job boards out there. And what we've also tried to do in-house, which is constantly still in development, is that we have a job tracker. So this is still in development, that what we do is we personally scrape different job boards out there. So you can see job boards, we scrape different job boards and then post it on these job boards for students to be applying to all those roles, okay? And host it here for them to, which means instead of you to go through the different job boards, going through LinkedIn, going through Wellfound, going through Read.co, we're going to scrape it and then upload it on this job board. Your responsibility is now to apply to them, right? And then we'll have job trackers to keep track. Possibly Henrietta have applied to a job, and maybe she applied to 20 jobs last month. And then as at this month, we've not heard anything from Henrietta. Maybe if she'd not come to us to say, hey guys, I need you to prepare me for an interview. we're now going to call Henrietta to the board and then ask Henrietta, okay, let's see the different CVs that used to apply to those roles. So most time when we do this for students, we realize that they are using one CV to apply to all these multiple jobs without tailoring it down to what they want to be in. Okay. And then after we've now walked them through, you need to be able to optimize, you need to be able to, match to the job that you're trying to apply to. They started getting results. So these are things that we do to also make sure that you move from the classroom to the job market. And then number 5 is job and interview prep sessions. Like I've mentioned, when you land an interview invite, we are available to have a mock interview preparatory class with you, where we're going to use how do you answer situation-based question. That's using the STAR framework, which is situation, task, action, and result. For instance, we can go for an interview and they ask you, they can ask you, okay, Phil, tell us about a time in the past where you've been able to use Nmap to analyze an IP target. Okay, so how you're going to answer this question is just simple. Hi, thank you for that question. So while I was consulting with analytics, I had a moment where I was working on this exact project and it presented me with the opportunity to do this exact task. So you started with the situation, moving to the task of what you had to do, which means you needed to scan an IP address and you identify the various scan types that you wanted to do, your SYN scan, your TCP scan, and others, okay? So you're not really walking them through your situation, the task that you carried out, the action that you did, and the result. So the result is simply, and in the end, we're able to discover some of these vulnerabilities that existed in that exact IP. And these were my recommendations to the management with respect to closing out that exact vulnerability. So when you speak like this to them, you are speaking in a more structured manner. And the only thing that is going to happen is all the other questions they will have for you will be within that exact bracket of what you've responded. So mistake that some people have during interviews is that because there's no structured approach, they're just answering so many things. That's when interviewers, recruiters are going to now be asking you questions from different places. But when you answer using the structured approach, you've talked about a project you've worked on, talked about the situation, the task, the action, and the results. Every single question they will now be asking you will be hinged on those things. They're not say, okay, this recommendation that you brought up, how were you able to implement it? Or this task that you said you carried out, which scanning type were you able to use? So everything, you've already boxed them into what you know. And this is the beauty of interview preparatory class. And of course, we are also available to provide you with recommendation and reference letters because you are working on real life projects and you're also going to say, oh, while I was consulting with analytics, I was able to do this, I was able to do that. So you can see from this Google Classroom, on top of it here, you can see all the extra resources that exist, which means your CV template is here, your how to request for reference is here, which is simply send an email to this so and so with all these requests, and it's going to instantly be honored. Tutorial guide for creating your portfolio, and also how to install Kali Linux, Box, Wireshark. So you have all these extra resources also hosted here for you. Then number 7 is mentorship sessions. So every Thursday, we'll have 1 hour discussion with people on the challenges that I have. In some instance, with a general class where you also get to interact with people from different programs, data analytics, data engineering, project management, and others. Sometimes it will be a streamlined class where you're having someone that's an expert in cybersecurity talking to you about a day in the life of a cybersecurity person. Then on the job support, that when you land a role, we're also available to provide you with support for 1 month till you find your fitting. So all these things that we are doing here is to get you to our level 3, which is our promise to you. That after you've walked through the technical skill, after you've passed through the employment service, you are definitely going to get at least 1 job interview 1 month after you're done training with us. So this is an assurance. But remember, for you to get this, for you to get to this level 3, you need to do your own part. Okay? I always tell people that applying to a job is a job on its own. Sometimes someone applied to 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they tell, oh, I've been applying and I'm not seeing anything. You need to do more. There's this survey I was looking at, and what you mentioned is that for you to land 1 job interview, you need to apply to 27 jobs in a week. And I was marveled. For you to land 1 job interview, you need to be able to apply to 27 jobs in a week. Now ask yourself how many jobs have you been able to apply in the last couple of weeks or days. So these are things that will enable you to be able to move to that finishing point. Okay. So this is learning management interface where once you're onboarded, you'll get to see your courses, that for you to watch your Watch Me Do It videos, for you to even watch some of these. We'll have videos also in this exact place for cybersecurity that's going to also take you into deeper concepts that exist in cybersecurity. Okay, so these are all success stories of people in the past. This is also a session where others came into the class to speak about their own success. So please ensure you fill the attendance form so you can have access to this slide and the recording and be able to go through it on your own. We may not be able to play them or breeze through everything, but please ensure you fill the attendance form that my colleague Obong is dropping in the chat box for you to have access to this. All right, these are all of them. Then we also have the amazing thing for you. Our next class is starting in 3 weeks' time, which is 2nd November 2024. Okay, most people would always say, okay, why do I have to learn a course by the end of the year? Let me just wait out till January. Let me use it as my New Year resolution. But the thing there is that when you learn November, December, by January, you already have a substantial skill for you to constantly start applying to roles. Okay, you already have skills that you need to be able to be applying to with. Okay, but if you wait till January, people and companies are going to take that year. They've already started getting all those invites because during November, December, companies have what we call strategic sessions, strategic retreats to strategize for next year. And what do they discuss? Oh, we have vulnerability in this area. We need a cybersecurity guy, or we need these people. We need these people. We need maybe 5 interns, or we need 10 graduate trainees. They make these decisions, and by that end of the year, they're already looking for people to hire. So that's the best way. That's the best time to position yourself for landing jobs. But if you're waiting till next year to start, which means you start learning January, February, and then by March, we're already in the Q2 of next year. Okay, so there's need for you to be able to leverage the ending part of the year, get a skill, and be able to be amongst the people that is going to move in to greater things by next year. And the amazing discount we have for you is 20% discount, early bird discount. Okay, so this is just for the first 20 people to join the classroom. So the full pricing is $750. Okay, but discounted to 600 for the first 20 people to join the class. And how do you secure your spot? So it is simple. When you click on this link that my colleague is going to drop, when you click on that main stack link, it's going to bring you to this Analytics enrollment page. Right? To bring you to the Analytics enrollment page. And what you have to do at this point is simply to scroll down. Okay, so what you need to do is just scroll down. When you scroll, you're going to see several things where you upload your receipts after payment, where you now see different courses that we offer. Okay, so remember, scroll down and look for cybersecurity, which is where you want to be in. So this is cybersecurity. I will click on it. So once I click at it, I'll just to bring me inside this register for CS, which is register for cybersecurity. Okay, register for cybersecurity. And what I have to do at this point is to select my own payment structure. So you're going to see supported currencies for pay in trenches. Pay in trenches currently operates with United States dollars only, which means you have the opportunity to pay in one-off, you have the opportunity to pay twice, you have the opportunity to pay 3 times. Okay, which means let me decide I want to pay 3 times, which means if I pay first one by this today, 10th of October, by 10th of November, I'll be expected to make another one. By 10th of December, I'll now complete the payment. So you can use the instrumental option to be able to get into the classroom. But once you make your first payment, it already guarantees you a spot into the class. And you can also make payments that you want to start next month. You want to secure your spot and defer to start for 1 month. You have the opportunity to also make that happen. So once you click on that, simply move to proceed to pay and then click on proceed and fill in your details. So what you have to do at this point is simply put your details, Chukwemeka, your email address, Chukwemeka, and then put in your phone number also. Once you put your phone number, next thing you have to do is just pay for products. Once you click on the pay for products, it's going to bring up the option for you to put in your card details, put the cardholder's number, and confirm payment. As simple as that. Remember, once you are done registering, you come to this exact place to upload your receipt. So this exact place allows you to make payments from any country. So even if you're in US, if you're in Canada, if you're in UK, it's going to automatically convert that $200 into your own local currency and debit that amount from your own card. So that's how MainStax operates. So it's going to debit the equivalent in your own currency in this exact place. Okay. But if you're in Nigeria and you want to make payments in Naira, you also have the opportunity to scroll down and click on this NGN installments link. And it's going to bring you to this page also. And what you simply have to do is to select the option you want, whether it's one-off payment or whether it's 2 times, or also whether it's 3 times. This only works for people that are presently in Nigeria also. So this is how you can easily register to secure your spot and start your learning journey by the 2nd of November. Remember, this discount is only for the first 20 people to get into the classroom. I don't know if at this point whether there is a question from anyone that wants to ask. You can use the raise hand icon and I'll call you up to speak. Okay, or you can also drop it in the chat box and I'll pick it up from there. Okay, do you have any questions from anyone? You can use the raise hand icon or you can drop it in the chat box and then we pick it up. How are we graded or evaluated? Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so who asked the question? Let me bring it up again. Sorry about that. That should be from Prince. How are we graded or evaluated? So you can see when I was in the classroom, you'd see where there's an assignment for these guys to turn in. So after each class, you have something to work on. Then by the end of your program, you have what we call a capstone project. So the expectation is that you are going to work on that capstone project. And once you're able to complete that exact capstone project, you'll be issued your certificate. Okay? You will be issued your certificate. Okay? And then also, after it, that's what guarantees you to move to the internship side. You've done your capstone project, you're now moving to the internship side to also keep working on further projects to enrich your portfolio, right? Next question you asked is how much time would we need to commit maybe per week to do well? Fantastic question. So each class is 3 hours every weekend, right? Which means on Saturdays, you need 3 hours to be in class, all right? 3 hours to be in class. And then maybe after the class, let's say you also need personal 1 hour for you to be able to go through what was done in the class if you didn't understand clearly. But if you're a fast learner, that 3 hours is okay. But then let's say after the class, you need another 2 hours, maybe in the night, for you to go through what has been taught. Okay. Then during the week, there's what we call drop-in sessions. Now, during drop-in sessions is basically for someone that is trying to understand what happened the previous weekend, but didn't get it. So they're coming to drop-in session to say, oh, Toby, I was trying to do this that you taught us last week, but it's not working. This is Toby will answer, okay, I'll share your screen. And right there in the drop-in session, you're going to walk through the challenge that you are having. So this is basically for people that, okay, they've been to class, they didn't understand. They've watched the video, they didn't understand. And then there's now a drop-in sessions to also help to carry you along. Okay, so it's now determining on how fast that you are able to learn. 3 to 5 hours is also okay for you to be able to learn. Then if that's not enough, you now have those additional 1 hour for you to now come into a drop-in session and be able to be put through it also. Then we have mentorship classes. Mentorship classes are just 1 hour during the week, which can happen on Thursdays, maybe possibly from 10 p.m. to 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. for 1 hour. Okay, and then we have employment sessions that also holds from 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. Right, these sessions are also interchangeable in the night. We'll have the ones that hold around 2 a.m. West African time. This is basically for people that are in Canada, US, because it should be around 8 p.m. Canadian time. Right, so all this will be communicated effectively. But your classroom learning is just 3 hours every Saturday. Okay. Then for your own personal learning, you can commit 2 hours to it. Then during the week, you also give us 1 hour for your mentorship classes and also your employability class. I hope that makes sense to you, Prince. Now, the next is this program something you can do while in full-time education? Fantastic question, Prince. Now, a couple of people, when they come to our programs, what they mention is, oh, my student visa is going to be up by next month. Please do magic. Now, the challenge with that is there's no magic in all these things. People might tell you that, oh, once you learn, instantly you're going to land a role. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. There is need for you to constantly be applying. And how do you stay above the curve? Is by starting early. Okay, it's going to be hard. When I was doing my MBA, actually, that's when I transitioned into the tech ecosystem, and it was very, very hard. I had a lot of fights with my supervisor then. Oh, Chukwemka, you are always not coming for this and that, because I was doing my MBA and I was also trying to transition. So it was very, very clustered up for me. Okay, but then that was the fire I was willing to walk through to get to where I want to be. Okay, so it is something that you can do while in full-time education. In fact, the best time to do it is while in full-time education, because possibly you're doing masters in information security, and then by the side, you're also doing the practical aspect and getting that exact knowledge, which means once you are done, you are straight entering the labor market and starting to, you hit the ground running instant. But if you wait after education, it simply means that possibly your student visa will start getting to the last end, and then you now start having you are no more settled while learning. There's now a lot of things clustered and things I need to put into consideration. Oh, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? So the best time is when you're actually having something that you are learning. You also have this practical aspect coming in between. Okay, now do we have to switch from Windows to Linux, or do we run the two? Okay, yeah, so you run the two in your current device. So inside your Kali Linux, you can instantly switch into a different operating system. So you don't have to get a new PC, Prince. So I hope I've been able to answer all the questions that you listed, Prince. I love the way you created your own questions and put it in one place. So thank you for that, Prince. You did not mention anything about certification that you would expect students to achieve before the end of the program, Felix. Now, Felix, what I always tell people is certificates is very important, especially in the cybersecurity space. Okay, it is important for you to pursue certification, but what is more important is for you to get the technical aspects. Okay, so what we are going to put you through 100% is the technical aspect of cybersecurity. Okay, if you want to write CCNA, something that you can easily read, write CCNA and pass. But remember, during your classes also, your facilitator is also going to walk you through the certificates that you can also start pursuing also. Let me go back to the curriculum. You can see right here, the last one, cybersecurity career and certifications, right? So right here, your facilitator is now going to walk you through all the different certifications that you need to now start pursuing. That is also going to help you with respect to transition to cybersecurity. But why it is last is because first thing first, you have to learn the technical skill. You now have to get into the role and then start applying for certifications. So I always tell people that certifications is a validation of a knowledge that you already have. Now, if you're writing certification first, what knowledge are we validating? Theoretical knowledge, that's where the question now comes in. So, Felix, you're going to be walked through it in the end of that your exact program. Okay, so let me scroll down and see if there are other questions for me also. Please remember, I can use the raise hand icon for me to also call you up to speak. Thank you, sir. You were splendid. Nice. Thank you so much, Prince. And Prince have asked my questions already. Okay, amazing. Amazing. Okay, that means I've taken everyone's question. Let me check if there are people that raised their hand. No hands were raised. Okay, fantastic. It's been an amazing discussion with each and every one of you tonight. For people that were not saying anything to me, I hope that you were at least able to listen to what we're discussing. We have Omisore, we have Apia, we have Ajibola, Amanze, Chede, Cheka, De Graft, Don Anthony, Felix asked a question. Fidelia was communicating. Henrietta also asked. Isabel, you didn't ask me anything. Josh, Millie, Moyo, Oluwaseun. Phil also communicated. Praise, of course, asked question, and the Prince also asked questions. But guys, please ensure that you communicate with us. If you have further discussions that you want to have with us, you are at liberty to also email this email here, enquiries@analytics.io, or you can also message any of our numbers. We have the Canadian number, you have the Nigerian number, and also the US number. Oh, we'll add the US line here before you get the slide, okay? So you can chat with us from Canada, US, UK, any of the line can you can easily get across to us, okay? Please make sure that you constantly have all these discussions with us. And within the week, we have what we call clarity calls that maybe you need to have further clarity in this career path, or maybe you're trying to move from being a medical doctor into coming to cybersecurity, but you're still not yet convinced. Okay, we'll have what we call one-on-one, consultations that is actually free, that we'll get to discuss with you and find how we can help you. It can be me, it can be Isosa, it can be Adeza or a Femina. We have the top management team within analytics taking that exact clarity one-on-one consultation to help you understand your own career path. Or maybe cybersecurity is not for you, that you want a different place. Also come on that clarity call, and we're going to have a fantastic one-on-one conversation. Okay, but remember, the first 20 people are the people that get to enjoy this personalized discounts. Okay, the first 20 people are the people that is going to enjoy it. Most time people come back and say, oh, but you told us during the call that it's $100, but I'm now seeing $750 in the site. It is automated. So once the site recognizes that 20 people has been able to do this, it's instantly updates itself to have the new prices. So please make sure that you secure your spots. Okay, when you secure your spots, you still have the opportunity to say, oh no, I don't want to be in cybersecurity anymore. I want to be in maybe data engineering. I want to be in data science or business analytics. We can do all those things for you. But if you wait till you have all those clarity before you secure your spots, you might be late to securing a 20% discount for that exact program. Okay. Are we to download any software? Yes, of course, Isabel. There are a couple of softwares that are going to be letting you. First of all, you have to put the Kali environment in your system. Okay, so these are things that is going to help you with respect to your learning journey. But you are going to be put through how to do all this. Remember, in the extra resource, I showed different things. You have to download your Kali Linux, you need to download your VirtualBox, and you need to download Wireshark. So, and several other tools that within the class that will be coming up for you to install. When is the clarity call? Felix, I believe you are in one of the communities. That's where you're coming from. So we have clarity calls throughout the week by 12 p.m. West African time, 3 p.m. West African time, 8 p.m. West African time, and 3 a.m. West African time. So it's round the clock. Every 3 hours of the time, we have a clarity call. So you can book a time with us in of those times. So it will be shared, and then the link after this class that will also be sent to you, we have that clarity call option, which means you're getting the slide, you're getting the recorded aspect of this class, and also a link to book a clarity call one-on-one conversation. Okay, so please make sure that you fill the attendance form, because that's what we're going to use to send all these results to you. That's what's going to tell us that, oh, Felix has been to our conversation before. Okay, and that's what guarantees some of these people for the payment option that is going to give you discounts. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I think there are other questions here. Do you have to buy the software? Okay, no, you don't have to buy the software. You don't have to buy those software, even though some of them might be in the free usage space. But once you're getting into a company fully, definitely they're going to provide you with the full sponsored softwares. Okay, I think I've taken all the questions here. So thank you so much, everyone. It's really been a fantastic discussion with each and every one of you from the beginning of this session till this very moment. Please remember that discount is just for the first 20 people. And then there are still other success stories. This one is for the reference that we provided for people that have been able to do this. So all this slide is filled with success stories of people. Okay, so please ensure that you are among the first 20 people to get into this class, and also ensure that you secure your spot, which is very, very important. Okay. And in the end, by next year, you're going to start smiling. Oh, my name is Fidelia, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst. My name is Chika. My name is Felix, and I'm a SOC analyst. So these are things, these are steps for you to get there. Okay. And this is how we've been able to help over 2,000 people to move from where they are into their jobs at the moment. These are the places that participants work in. We have people that work in Uber, we have people that work. In fact, NHS is our highest employer of analytics people. So you can also, because they offer visa sponsorships. So you also can be amongst this set of guys. So on behalf of Adeza Suleiman, the founder of Analytics, and also Efemina Ipro, the co-founder of Analytics, I say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for being with us till this very moment. And I can't wait to see each and every one of you come 2nd November in one of our classes. Thank you guys, and bye for now. Cheers.